FitTech Nation, it is day 64, 6 days to go, about a week. Can you still make us some good change? Of course you can. It's still 10%, and 10% is still a difference, okay? So pedal to the metal all the way to the end. You've got to give it everything you've got. You've got to submit and commit. And, you know, you can see major change. I've seen major change in 2 weeks in myself. And I know I've seen major change in you guys in 2 weeks, or, you know, over the course of even shorter periods than that. I do see you in class, and I can see changes in a lot of you. So, you know, just keep going, because every day is like adding a little bit more, right? Every day you're adding a bit more. All right, so hang in there and keep moving forward. All right, did you book your scan? Hopefully you did. www.calendly.com/train-on-main. Book your scan. It should all be working. I haven't had any complaints yet, so fingers crossed. All right, so you might be interested to know something. I did a second scan. No, sorry, a third scan. You heard about my second scan, and I made some very good progress. But I thought you'd be interested in this one specifically because so in the last 2 weeks, I've dropped not as much weight. I've dropped about 4 to 5 pounds, somewhere in there. I have to double check again. It's somewhere in that 4 to 5 pound range. I think it's closer to 5. But when I did my scan this morning, basically there was no change. Okay, there was change in my weight. But the scan reported that I'd lost over 4 pounds of muscle in 2 weeks. Okay, so did this really happen? Well, let's take a look at what I changed over the last 2 weeks, because I changed some things. So what did I do? I did increase my cardio. I increased my cardio by about 20 minutes per day. I lowered my carbohydrates. So I actually lowered my calories by about 200 grams. And, sorry, I lowered my calories by about 200 calories. And the majority of that was carbohydrates. In fact, actually, I lowered my carbohydrates by probably more like 75. So I actually added in some fat. And so those were the primary two differences, okay? Well, there's really three. There's a calorie difference, there's a carbohydrate difference, okay? Because I actually allotted more, I actually took up more carbohydrates than what my calories reflect, because I added in more fat, and then I did more cardio. So what happened? Well, what happened is typically what happens to you when you come in for your scan. You see a difference in your muscle mass, or sorry, you see a lowering of your muscle mass. It's water. Okay, this is what happens. Okay, now why did I see such a difference in like 4 pounds? Well, it's because I'm very glycogen depleted. I am on day. I didn't really give myself. That's another thing too. Actually, there's a fourth thing I failed to mention, and that is I didn't have a cheat meal last weekend. So my glycogen reserves are on low right now, which means my muscle mass, physically speaking, is less. Not the actual muscle tissue, because the tissue didn't go away. It's just what makes up the muscle, and part of what makes up the muscle is the glycogen. It is the storage of that energy, right? Our muscles are areas where we can store sugar, essentially, okay? And for every gram of sugar that the muscle stores, we get about 3 grams of water that goes along with that. All right, so, you know, when we're chewing through body fat, we're also chewing through glycogen. We can't be glycogen full and then the body's chewing away at fat preferentially. It's going to chew away at both, all right? So that would explain that. Now my weight is down almost 5 pounds. And so it actually said my body fat was slightly up. So by the machine's estimation, I actually gained some body fat. Well, we know that this is ridiculous, right? And this is the important thing about measuring. And this is not something that is you know, relegated to just the in-body machine that you get your test done on. I had my test done on a DEXA scan before. That's how I used to get all my body fat measurements done. And these are high-powered machines. They are at least a few $100,000. I'd be closer to say that the average machine is probably about $500,000. And these machines are, you know, again, pretty accurate, except for the machine can only measure what it sees. It can't differentiate the water in the muscle, okay? Well, maybe there is something it could do. Maybe there's something it could do with the algorithm in there to kind of estimate that difference. I don't know. It's certainly not my area of expertise, but there is, you really can't, you know, just imagine, you know, what would be the analogy? It's probably not the best analogy, but raw steak versus a cooked steak, right? So same amount of muscle tissue, that's just muscle tissue. Same amount of muscle tissue, one's had water extracted from it. That's the difference, okay? So when a machine, let's say a scale, measure those two, there's a difference. There's more muscle there than there is here, but really it's just a difference in water, okay? So I thought you'd be interested to know that sometimes when you come for your scan, this type of thing can happen, okay? If you have more muscle mass and you make more of a change to your carbohydrates, you can really see a fluctuation. And this is why you guys wouldn't probably be able to appreciate this, but I've seen bodybuilders before, when they're manipulating these last few things during the week, they can manipulate their weight by like 20 or 25 pounds because they have the ability, the body has the ability to carry so much water because there's so much muscle. So body weight measurement can be manipulated very easily, okay? Well, not easily, but it can be manipulated, okay, to a much greater degree than a regular person, okay? All right, somebody wrote me and they asked, badminton, they're playing badminton twice per week, they're burning a decent amount of calories, their heart rate is you know, pretty high the whole time. Can they use this as their cardio? Can they use this? Can they put this in place of cardio? And my answer to this is no, you cannot. I don't want you to start replacing certain things. I wouldn't want you to, for example, be, I don't know, outside doing heavy laborious work and then say, well, that considered as a weight training workout. I want you to stick to the pillars as close as possible. And then anything on top of that is just a bonus, okay? So you can think of your badminton as, although, I mean, I guess we're just talking about semantics here. You can think about that as neat, or you can think about it as extra exercise, but it's not going to fit into your cardio, okay? So just remember this, if you want to lose some extra body fat, you know, throwing in some badminton on top of this is only going to help you, right? Because you're just going to expend a few more calories, okay? All right. 8 minutes. Okay, here are 5 things I'm thankful for. My health, free access to free running water, which, you know, is safe to drink. It appears to be safe to drink, hopefully. Let's hope it is. Let's hope it's not slowly poisoning us. Some people say it is. A free and structured, I guess you could say, calm society. I mean, we've got we are pretty lucky, right? I mean, yeah, sure, we get crime and stuff like that, but you know, we have rules outside, and for the most part, everybody obeys them, right? And so, you know, the fact that we have this structured society where people basically abide by it, and we're able to live in a, you know, civilized, we're really lucky, right? I mean, we could be living in a city when it's just ruled by different, you know, warlord factions or something, right? There are parts of the world like that right now. I'm thankful for the roof over my head, and I am thankful for the ability to rationalize and, well, I guess, I don't know what the right wording would be, but maybe self-ponder, right? The ability to think about why I'm doing what I'm doing, the ability to perhaps hold back when my emotions take over, or at least try to hold back, right? The ability to, you know, for us to really be human, right? That really no other creature has on the face of this earth, at least that I know of. All right, so those are my 5 things that I'm thankful for. What are your 5 things? Send them to me. You will continue to submit commit over these final 6 days. Maybe you got a couple extra days depending on when your scan is. And I'm going to remind you to stay positive, keep the energy positive, keep the vibes positive, believe in yourself, and as always, send me your 5 gratitudes, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you guys all very soon. See ya.